And calls for the resignation of Colorado Republican Chairman Dave Williams are growing. And though Williams has been called out in the past for using party resources to bolster his chances for a seat in Congress, it was his recent anti-LGBTQ rhetoric that made criticisms ramp up. Now, last week, Williams sent a mass email to other Republicans calling for the burning of all pride flags and saying members of the LGBTQ plus community were, quote, godless groomers. The email also told parents to pull their children from public schools, saying Democrats use schools to turn more kids trans. Valdemar Archuleta, the leader of an LGBTQ conservatives group, told 9 News anchor Kyle Clark the messages don't reflect the majority of the party.
It has really bad optics. It looks bad. And my primary concern, or the thing I'm most upset about, is that this does not represent the party well.
Does it just look bad, or is it bad?
It is bad. It is bad.
Now, some other Republicans are echoing Archuleta's statement and say they've collected enough signatures to force a vote to remove him as chairman of the party. In response, Williams accused those who signed of being, quote, so-called Republicans, and sent a second email this week restating that, quote, God hates pride. Now, this obviously has been making headlines in Colorado, but in other places as well. And I think it's important to kind of discuss, first and foremost, that, not all conservatives and not all Republicans are homophobic or intolerant in any, which way that you want to put it. But with that being said, though, the impact of a leader of a party kind of coming out and saying this very direct message to a community and kind of doubling down on that statement, I mean, it can be pretty harmful.
And to echo just what like you were just saying, Antonia, not every Republican in there has those same ideas and beliefs. Like I believe she's the head of the Jefferson Republican Party or committee or whatever their name is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but she sent a formal letter to Dave asking him to resign. So I mean, like, it shows in that instance that, hey, we don't support that, and you need to like remove yourself from it if you're not going to get behind it, and like wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's said that he says some of these things or does certain things so to promote his, chances for Congress or whatever he wants to do. And I just feel like it's odd. One, I'm glad that Archuleta spoke out to say like, hey, not all of us think this way.
Yes.
And also that there are queer conservatives. And I think that it's wild that some people, whether they run for office or whatever, will alienate a whole group of people. And I'm like, you do realize some of your constituents are also queer people. So I'm like, that's a portion of the vote that you will never get.
Right. It's like negating the fact that there are queer voters, and a lot of them at that. And like more and more, I know a lot of queer conservatives or like people who have conservative like beliefs and ideals who just happen to be queer. So I think in that side of it, it's also just a little bit bizarre that someone who is also trying to like bolster his position is like putting out this rhetoric. But in addition to that, I'm just also like, just thinking about the overall impact to the queer community and to young people who are, maybe trying to develop their own, what are my political beliefs? What am I going to stand for? Are getting educated and like learning about the world and making their minds up. Seeing someone with such an important or like prominent leadership position in a state saying these things, like that can have a really horrible impact on how they later identify. Because if they're like, oh, okay, then I think that I align with a lot of Republican beliefs. Does that mean then that I also have to be intolerant? Does that mean then that I also have to be homophobic?
But a lot of this is based in religion, and a lot of what he said was even based in religion. And I'm like, what happened to... So I know that America in general was founded with Christianity in mind.
Right.
I know it's kind of ingrained in our Constitution and all the things. But I'm like, what happened to separating church and state? I know a lot of conservatives that aren't even religious. I know quite a few. Actually, I feel like most of the conservatives I know are atheists. So,
and I feel like it's kind of just like a grab at attention, like instead of getting the votes from the policies that you're implementing, like you're just going to go and generalize some type of topic and try to get votes that way, rather than going and doing the actual work of you know, having policies into place and going and meeting with these other people on the other side.
Right, and potentially hurting people along the way. So
Yeah.
all around, pretty gloomy stuff.